Well, trying a different microphone and camera. I tried some other things and it wasn't working yesterday. It's been a long time, but it didn't quite come out. So I have no idea how this will turn out. But I've already spent an hour here trying different microphones with the feedback. The Blue Yeti I have seems to just produce some sort of electrical interference buzz or something nonstop. And tried different cameras, but they end up with various levels of darkness and lightness. So in the future, when you're looking back and see how it all began, oh, okay, well, who knows? Everything's in the future from now. So, uh, but anyway, I've wasted enough time testing out the microphone to see if this is working or not. But I figured, you ever see those math videos where they say, "Oh, I'll do cool things with numbers," and well, I noticed I have 14 subscribers, so I'll do some cool things with numbers. So 14, that's like 2 times 7. I bet you didn't know that. So if you have 2 times 7, that equals 14. And if you have 14 thirds times 3, that's also 14. I know. And wow, what other cool number things? Oh, yeah. This year is a year of a plague, pandemic, or whatever you want to call it. Was it? And the previous one, big one, was 1914. Oh, wait, yeah, 1918. That's it, 1918. And then 1914, it'd be 4 years before that, which has a 14 in it. And let's see, 18 minus 14 is 4. So, and that was before this decade. That was the 1900s. This is the 2000s. So I think it's 2000s. Yeah, probably 2000s. So look at that. It all lines up there. And yeah, it's not as impressive as people talk about perfect numbers, like the number 6 or the number 28, which are perfect numbers. Although 28 is 2 times 14. And that's the second one. So 2, the second times 1. Okay. Beyond that, I'm not really good with. I hear about a baker's dozen, right? A dozen is 12. A baker's dozen is 13. So adding the word baker must mean +1. So a baker's dozen is 14. Wow, all these 14s, man, the world's full of them. Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, okay. Other than that, I guess this microphone is going to be recording stuff. Oh yeah, this what day is today? Even I don't even know. Oh, today's the 28th. 14 times 2. So about 2 days ago, they released a bunch of sci-fi stuff on all the different channels actually, like Amazon Prime and Hulu. In the future, for people in the future, those are streaming services where you could watch shows, and there was a bunch of cool ones that I was waiting for. I didn't even know I was waiting for them actually. The one Invincible on Amazon Prime. It was based on this comic book. That's like 10, 20 years ago, maybe? I don't know. Some number of years ago. And it went on for quite a while, and I read it. It starts off, you think, oh, it's like a sappy superhero story about a guy whose father's from an alien world where everybody's super powered and lands on Earth and has a kid, and he's in school and he has to deal with dating and other issues, and when's he getting his superpowers? But then shortly after that, it turns into a really violent and bloody comic. And the same with the show. Spoilers. Same for the show. It says in the trailer it's violent, so you should know before you watch it. It's actually really well done, though. It's a surprisingly interesting show. They got a lot of big names for it, and the comic book itself is really well done. I really liked it. Just the way the story changed over time. It starts off and you think, oh, okay, this is the way it is, and it turns out, oh no, it's not. Not everything is what it seems, and then turns out everything's not what it seems again, and then it does it a couple more times. So it made it an interesting read over the number of years it was around. And the other one that came out was Solar Opposites, which is by at least one of the people who did Rick and Morty, and the guy who voices Rick voices the main character, so it kind of sounds like Rick a lot of the times. So I guess that's just his natural voice, but the same intonation, speed, types of dialogues, things like that. So it's well done though. It's really interesting. I've only watched a couple of them so far. And also, let's see, the Snyder Cut of Justice League came out. I hadn't seen the first one, but I did see the Superman, where they recut the Superman v Batman or Batman v Superman. And I never saw the original, but I thought the remake was actually pretty good. And so I'm assuming that the Snyder Cut's good. Mom said she watched it. She was only going to watch like an hour or two of it. And it's 4 hours and 4 minutes, and that she just watched the whole thing straight through. So I'm looking forward to watching that one. I hear it's I've heard mixed things. There's some controversy about it because of other stuff not related to the show, uh, but yeah, it's just his vision of what it was, which is, I guess, darker and less happy than the one that was released in the theaters. But looking forward to that one. So yeah, I guess today being Sunday, the 28th, I'll probably watch that this afternoon and see how it goes. Um, Other than that, I said I'm just mostly trying to record stuff, just to be a voice out there for you, someone to tune into. I don't really have an agenda or anything I want to talk about or anything specific. Just I'm here for you. Well, I don't know who I'm here for. I'm just looking at myself right now, I guess. That's the weird thing about recording, but I hope the audio comes out. Otherwise, yeah, you won't hear any of this. I've already done one of those where it's totally silent video. I don't know if anybody's ever watched that one. It was too bad. It was really good too. Man, I had it scripted and everything. Well, some of it was scripted, but then since I didn't record it, tried to re-record it, but it didn't have that same flair. It's like all the energy was put into that first one, and then it was all gone. But yeah, it's a nice day today, and still under heavy lockdowns here in California. The rest of the world's opening up, but I'm sure it's all based on stuff and things. And yeah, there's a lot of TV shows to watch. There's a lot of books to read. Oh man, I'm reading a lot of books lately. Mostly just I found a bunch of manga online. So man, I don't know how many hours I've sunk into that crap. They're all the same stories over and over again. You realize after a while, but still, it's interesting. If it's a story you like, I mean, who doesn't mind hearing the same story over if you've with a different point of view? I mean, that's all we used to have before, right? I mean, everybody like Doctor Who. People talk about, oh, it's a loss. Doctor Who is gone forever. All the original episodes. But you think of everything before TV, there was never recordings or stuff. And before recordings, there was no recordings. I know, insightful. But every performance was unique. So there was no like, oh, this is the one you got to see. It's like there wasn't. You saw it, and then you could tell people how great it was, but they'll never know which was the best. You couldn't compare and contrast unless you heard them all, and then you could tell people, oh, no, this one wasn't nearly as good as the one like 10 years ago. And the same for like Doctor Who. It's like, well, it's gone. Yeah, things were supposed to be just recreated. There was not supposed to be, we'll watch the same thing over and over again. It's, we'll watch different versions or different takes of it. It's someone's interpretation of it. But that seems to have been lost now. Now it's like, well, there's the one true story. This is the person. This is J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter story. This is Doctor Who the way it was supposed to be, as opposed to, well, here's somebody's take on it. And in manga, it's like there was one that I was reading, and it's like this story sounds like familiar, and it's yeah, they're all based on the same. Two different people took the same graphic or same novel, and animated it or drew it up, and took different paths on it. They focused on different characters or different stuff, but overall, it's the same story. I think they did the same thing with some Dracula story that I liked, Helsing. That was it. I think there's a couple of different versions of Helsing out there, but it was all based on a similar story. But each of the animated ones, on that one it's an anime, took a different path on it, and they're very different. And so it's interesting to see the same take on the different stories. So I don't think we have that as much anymore. Oh well, I don't know. I guess with reboots. Okay, maybe I'm totally wrong. Maybe I'm just shooting the breeze here. I mean, the idea it's in general. It's interesting to see just different takes on it. I know a lot of people here didn't like to see like the reboots. I guess they call them reboots. Maybe that's why I don't never thought of it that way before. But like when they rebooted Batman, rebooted Superman, and be like, oh, I want to see the original one, or oh, the character wasn't that way when I was a kid. It's like, so what? It's a different character, or it's a retake. It's someone else's vision of it. Just like I talked about dreams. Like I like hearing other people's view on stuff. It's like I know my perspective, but and I've seen the one person's perspective, but it'd be interesting to see how someone else would envision it, or how in your own mind would you take that. It's like given a chance of an alien coming to Earth with superpowers. Like, well, how would it be in your world? How would you have envisioned it? I know there was a Superman where he landed in communist or socialist USSR that was written back in the 70s or 80s. And it was Comrade Superman instead of standing up for truth, justice in the American way. It was some sort of socialist stuff. I don't ever read a summary of it. It sounded pretty interesting, though. I don't know if I ever found the book. And there was a couple other ones like that I had read. Was it called Super Family? I'll have to find it. It was one I read a long time ago, and I found it on Amazon. And it was the same thing. It was kind of interesting. It was a story of Superman, and he had a family, but he was losing his powers over time, and eventually tracks it back to something. Well, I don't know if I want to spoil it, but it was a really interesting story. It's just it's like someone takes the idea and redoes it. So I've always found this kind of interesting. So, but anyway, I'm hoping this all works out, and hoping that you're having a great weekend and things are going well, and Maybe if there's some sci-fi conventions coming up. I hear there's one in Vegas in August, and I always love Vegas. Before everything was locked down, it was illegal to travel. I used to go to Vegas I used to go to Vegas every month for a long time, and then I still try to go to Vegas a lot. So maybe I'll go to Vegas in August for that. I hear there's some sci-fi meetups or just some of the people online that I watch are going to be there. So it'd be interesting just to meet people face to face. But yeah, there's a lot of good shows out there now that I found interesting. And besides Resident Alien, which ends this week, I mean, that's been going on for 9 weeks. That's really good. And Debris is by the people I heard by the person who did Fringe, and Debris is on. I've been enjoying that one too. But of the two, Resident Alien has been my favorite so far. So it ends this week. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, so that's. Is that 14 shows that I named? No, I don't think I. So if you think of any other cool things with 14 that are impressive, or if anybody knows any 14 facts, post them in the comments. The math is always interesting as well, but I know that they always say that every number has interesting stuff about it, but I really couldn't think of anything, so I just had that rambling stuff. But anyway, take care, and I'll see you soon.